So the topic of today's story is quarreling. A long time ago, in the Buddhist era, there were monks from a certain temple, but they had two different groups. One group was the students of one teacher. The other groups were students from another teacher. Now the teachers had an argument, okay? And then the students started backing up their teacher. And so they started fighting and arguing. These are all monks, and they were fighting and arguing. And they just said, you know what? They're wrong. They won't admit that they're wrong. The other side said, no, you're wrong. You won't admit that you're wrong. And they started fighting. And they said, you know what? I will not eat with them. Oh yeah, I'm not going to bintabat with them. Well, we're not going to do the Sangha Kama with them, which is the chanting together. We won't do it together. We refuse to join groups with them. And they just kept fighting and kept fighting. All the lay people noticed the monks in the temple fighting. So they were just like, this is weird. Like, what's going on? And then the Buddha was telling them, guys, stop fighting. This is not good for monks. Swallow your pride. Get over it. Stop fighting. And they were like, no, tell them to stop fighting. No, tell them to stop fighting. And so they wouldn't stop fighting, even after the Buddha said. And the Buddha doesn't talk for nothing. If he says something, you should listen. They didn't listen. So what did the Buddha do? The Buddha got up and left. And the monks were just quiet, like the Buddha left us. We had the Buddha here with us. And the Buddha left. He went to go live in the forest by himself. Imagine what other students would think when they hear that the Buddha went to go stay in the forest by himself with no one to take care of him. Because your monks kept fighting and would not get along. Now the people found out that the temple nearby their house, where the Buddha was, and they had the opportunity to meet and take care of the Buddha, now he's gone. Because these monks wouldn't stop fighting. People stopped going to the temple. People stopped taking care of the monks. People got mad and were yelling and criticizing the monks. Now the monks feel the pressure of their actions. And they were so scared and so sad, and they were so worried about what they would lose. They went to go beg the Buddha to come back. The Buddha never came back. And he just left and went to another city, went back to Savatthi at the end. And the Buddha taught that when people fight, when you argue with someone, and you try to fight and argue, there are no winners. If you knew what the consequences of fighting are, you wouldn't do it. At the end of a fight, everyone dies. Everyone loses. If you knew this, you would stop fighting immediately, no matter what the issue is, no matter who was right or who was wrong. What does this story teach us? Do you really want to wait until the consequences hit you so hard and it's too late? You lost all your opportunities. You lost all the possibilities because of your stubbornness? Are you the kind of person that waits until the penalty hits you to learn? Or can you learn after just someone warns you? Can you learn from other people's example? Can you learn fast, or do you learn slow? If you learn too slow, it might be too late. Right now, it's not too late. Learn what you can. Do what you can as soon as you can. And hopefully we can resolve any problems that we have. Fighting doesn't work. You can't beat other people and be happy and things turn out good. You'll always have an enemy, even an enemy inside yourself. So remember the example of the monks. They call them the bhikkhus of Kosampi. Think about that. Their name is in the history books as the ones who ruined everything. Their names are in the history books as, this is the example you shouldn't do. 2,600 years later, we still remember their actions. We still remember their actions and what they did. You don't want to be like that. As long as you have time, make the effort, overcome, and hopefully things will still have time left for you.